Okay, I gotta do the episode thumbnail. Hang on real quick. Okay, hopefully one of those two make the thumbnail. Hello. Welcome back. Welcome in. Welcome in. Come on in. Come on in. We'll wait for the others. And while everyone's coming in here, I want to say I'm very grateful for all of the love and all of the views and all of the subscribers, especially the Do Talk stuff. I mean, I'll put some stuff up here, but a lot of you guys were really touched by some of the things you said and wrote really long comments that I really took to heart, and I really appreciate it. I didn't know what kind of response these videos would get, especially that part of the video. I'm glad to see that this channel's getting some traction. That being said, I'd love to get to 500 views because YouTube really opens up for small creators like me. It really opens up after 500 subs and after 1,000 subs. So that's housekeeping stuff. I'm losing the hat. I can't do it with the hat. If you don't know who I am, my name is Aaron Murray Vasquez. I'm a filmmaker here in New York City. Let's get started. So welcome to my penultimate episode of the penultimate episode of The White Lotus, Season 3, Episode 7, Killer Instincts. So this is the night portion of the day that we started in Episode 7, Denials. And let's look at the menu today. Okay, that's a big menu. Okay, so let's start with Rick, right? We should start with Rick. I gotta say this episode for me for Rick was kind of bland, but I think that that's because it was also bland for Rick. I think Rick was making this big confrontation happen in his mind, and it was going to be this grand moment of retribution and courage and heroicism for his mother and for his life, but it didn't turn out that way. Rick just had a terrible episode in general. Like, he brings his friend out of retirement, gives him zero prep, just tells him, you're a director, you're here to meet this star.
What have you directed, may I ask?
What haven't I directed? You know what I mean?
Doesn't tell him what the role is, doesn't tell him what he's told her.
What kind of movie are you making here?
You know what? It's a fun caper.
Doesn't give him the context in which he got this thing going.
And what would be my role?
She is a former prostitute, now a madam, and she owns a popular bordello.
No backstory, blows his real name.
Maybe you and I could speak in another room. That way your wife and Frank here could really connect.
Steve.
And meanwhile, Frank is just like thrown into the deep end, and he's fighting for his life. The looks that the looks that Sam Rockwell's giving in this episode are so funny, because it was just like, Rick, have one conversation with Frank about what you said, where they're going, what's happening. Just like one conversation would really align themselves.
I'm sorry?
Which films did you watch? Some are better than others.
The ones I saw, you were fantastic.
My wife was saying this. The funny thing is, the way they set it up in Denials, that they're this like Ocean's 11 duo or this James Bond duo of hitmen, you could have really just played a Benny Hill soundtrack over them the entire time, because it was so farcical how bad they actually were in this episode. I also was really just worried when, because of all of the stress, not only does Rick bring Frank out of retirement, he also brings him out of his sobriety. There's a part of this where Rick is doing more damage trying to do what he wants that ends up being worth it. Damage to potentially Chelsea, damage to Frank's life. I know I feel bad for the Frank character, but Sam Rockwell again is just throwing heater after heater. There's just scene with him and Sritala are watching old videos of her real actor doing this awesome performance, and he says something about, what does he say?
I mean, it's like MC Hammer, Peter Pan. It's got a little Pippin.
It's the folk music and the rap music. Yeah.
And it's just so funny that he's just like, it's Frank and it's Sam. Like, he's got so much charm. He's got so much charm, and it really makes up for the lack of charm Rick has. Sam Rockwell's just throwing heat this whole episode, and it's so different from the heat he was throwing in episode 6, the full moon party, because there he was reserved and he knew himself. And on this side of it, you get to see the other side of who he was.
Really?
Let's celebrate. Yeah. Come on,
I
let's go.
thought you're sober though, right? You don't
Sober. That ship sailed. Come on, let's go big.
You think it's a good idea?
We're in Bangkok, man. Let's fucking go.
And the night ends with them just partying in Bangkok. And these scenes looked really great to film. And I want to put a little sidebar here. Some of these like behind the scenes cast photos came up on the subreddit, the White Lotus subreddit, and I really was like, it just seemed like such a fun time to shoot. There's been a lot of stuff with AI and Studio Ghibli, and making art together with people is one of the most rewarding things we can ask for as creatives. And what I'm worried about with AI stuff on the creative side is that it's going to isolate us and cause us to create more things alone versus creating things together, being inspired by things together on the day before meeting up. It's important that we make things together and not rush to the end result, because the journey can change where it ends up. Studio Ghibli had dozens of artists who developed a style that worked together for years to make themselves one of the best of the best. And that took a lot of work, and that took a lot of effort, and that took a lot of labor. And that's kind of what I want to impress on this sidebar, is that making things together is very rewarding. And you can see it in a show like The White Lotus, staff photos of how much fun everybody was having making these things. And that's what we all want in the film industry, is just to make more things with more people. Okay, sidebarred over. Okay, number 2 on the menu, the Ratliffs. The Ratliffs have kind of stalled out for me. I feel like Tim had a kind of a breakthrough this last episode, but then he's just kind of gone back to who he was the last couple of episodes. We end the episode with Tim frantically looking for his gun because he has committed to the bit. I don't know if it's because he didn't want to lose it or because he was like made up his mind and he was ready to go. Either way, both are bad, and don't do that. Okay, the trio of friends. One of my so Fabian, we start the scene with Fabian being like, "Oh, I'm gonna sing a song." He gets like 2 seconds into the song, and then it cuts right to the girls. I also really appreciated the feedback on this because I don't understand a lot of the subtext that's happening. Even in this scene, it felt like, wow, this is spicy, super spicy. But I feel like I'm a couple of layers underneath of it, being like, is Jacqueline wrong? Is Lori taking it too far? Where is Kate in all of this? Like, Kate is like doing a very like alliance thing as a 2-for-1, but eventually the two gang up on Lori, and Jacqueline gets way harsh. Kate digs in too. Once Jacqueline goes there, Kate's got to go in too. It's only going to get them to be defensive, which Lori does. Lori gets defensive, attacks Kate, attacks Jacqueline, says, F this, I'm going to the fights. Overall, this was one of my favorite scenes because it was just a drag out fight. And obviously, I really love seasons that just kind of build and build and build and build. And then we just, boom, we're having it out right now. With Kate, I think she's trying to like be in the middle, but it's sort of splitting her into two because it's not who she really is, but she wants to maintain her alliance with Jacqueline, which she brings up later in the episode.
I'm not judging you, Jack. I was actually defending you at dinner.
It's a very like Survivor move. After the merge, you are my number one. The more we get into it, the more Carrie Coon, who plays Lori, her performance is awesome. Being sort of sad and sort of small to being like a lion in this episode. I don't want to like compliment her in a way that is inappropriate, but it felt like when she was having sex with that dude, it was like her standing at the top of like Pride Rock and just like Sarabi or Nala or Mufasa. Shit, fuck it. She gets into her own trouble. Her side piece tried to scam her for $10,000 via Cash App. Ketchup. She got smacked on the head on the way out the window. An L for Lori in this episode. All right, what's next? Mook and Gaitok. We're going to pass on that one. Not much there. But it's okay. Belinda's turn to play the banker. It's Belinda's turn to play the banker on Deal or No Deal Island. She gets a $100,000 opening offer. Obviously, she takes the no deal option because there's still a couple of big number cases on the board. That show is so funny because he has like that villainous look to him, and then his phone calls with the banker are always like, yes. Ooh, she's not gonna like that. No, I agree. Okay, so that's where Belinda is. Also kind of bland. Let's keep it moving to the main event. Saxon. Pow. Saxon. One of the things I liked about the Saxon character is how action-oriented he is. Now, before he gets here, those actions are very, like, selfish and surface level and shallow. But now that he's here, everything is falling apart around him. He is struggling to maintain his own identity. He takes a couple of L's here in succession. His brother and sister don't come back to the White Lotus, which leaves him stranded going to this party with his parents. And he's all alone with Chelsea, who continues to try to shine the mirror up to Saxon. And he doesn't like it. He thinks he's better than these old men. And Chelsea says, that's going to be you.
It's going to be you in 30 years.
Why are you so mean to me?
That's what you give off.
You think you're not going to be an old man wanting a young, hot woman. You got another thing coming. And he doesn't understand that she's trying to help him. When Chelsea tells Saxon that Rick has a sadness in him that intrigues her.
First day we met, he told me his whole life story, and I just knew we were meant to be together. See, you can't even go there.
He can't even understand that. A sadness feels like the opposite of what Saxon is capable of. He has to be strong. He has to be bold. He has to be confident like his father. To have somebody say, I find sadness intriguing, he's not able to hear it. Sidebar. Chelsea is too concerned about Rick. I don't like how Chelsea's sort of been reduced to being there to fix men. Do you know what I mean? Can Chelsea want something? Can Chelsea have some action? I love the character. I love the actor. And I kind of want more stories with her in the world because she moves so wonderfully. Not a good use of our time with Chelsea in the spotlight. Okay, so Chelsea has done something. The soulless comment has kind of brought him to confront his father about this thing because his dad is just in a fog. He goes to his father. He pulls his father out of his malaise. He pulls his father out of his medicated state and tries to be real and honest about where they are in their lives, where he is in his life.
My career's totally tied to yours, so if something bad is happening, it's happening to both of us. I don't have any interests. I don't have any hobbies. Okay, if I'm not a success, then I'm nothing. And I can't handle being nothing.
And while he thinks he's trying to get his dad to come to his senses, he's actually pushing his dad further in, of being like, our success is tied together.
I put my whole life into this basket, into your basket, Dad.
And so Tim lies to his son. Saxon knows this. And that's another L for Saxon. Okay, now we get our big monologue. Chloe is entrusted into bringing Saxon into Greg's fantasy. I mean, even Chelsea has a hard time processing what she's hearing and what's being asked of Saxon. But the bigger picture is that, like, Saxon turns down sex. So L number 3, 1, 2, 3, 3 L's so far. And so defeated, Saxon walks Chelsea. And in this walk, he tries to find something of himself. Asks Chelsea, hey, maybe I can understand you on a spiritual level. Maybe this is something I can see for myself. Maybe. Let's go back to your place. And Chelsea earnestly tries to give him another shot because I think she's a very open person. And so I think she tries to see this as a friendship. Saxon can't. The first thing she says.
Okay, so the most important thing is to take everything very slow.
And what's he do? Immediately makes a move on her. Immediately makes a move which gets her to back off all the way, which she should. She has put up boundary after boundary after boundary. No, it does not matter if you get invited back to a girl's place, you're in her bed. That is not consent. You do not get to like make a move if y'all are still friends. And if she recoils like that, definitely get going. My first thought was like, all right, Saxon, time to go. Don't make any fuss. Don't make anything harder for yourself. Get up, get out. Don't do nothing. So L number 4 for Saxon as he leaves with nothing but a handful of books. Everything's kind of crumbled around him. His family, his faith, his future, the pleasure he gets out of like sex that he just takes on the chin. And I kind of respect him for that a little bit. You know, he took a lot of L's. And that's what I think my dude talk is about today, is learning how to take a loss. Not everything's going to work out in big ways and in small ways, particularly in small ways. Losses happen in our lives. You know, the phrase, "you can't win them all," exists for a reason. That does not mean you shouldn't try your best. That doesn't mean you shouldn't try your hardest. You shouldn't reach for the stars. That does not mean when the going gets hard, you quit. It just means that it reveals more about yourself, how you lose. How you lose in big moments, how you lose in small moments. When I was a young kid, I was very competitive because I wanted attention and I wanted validation and I wanted to show that I was like great. But that kind of stuff ended up being really antisocial for me because nobody wanted to really play basketball as hard as I was playing. Nobody really wanted to take the video games I was taking as seriously. And when I lost, to like lash out and to be angry and to attack my friends, like that wasn't a cool thing to do or to be. And the more I understood that like losing is a part of life, losing and winning in certain situations, you're in the exact same place, gave me some relief to be like, oh, okay, I can just kind of move towards a direction. And if I lose, that's just a step back. You also work with people who get successful. They're just on a different path. It has nothing to do with me. I'm happy when my friends win. I'm even happy sometimes when like people I don't know win. It's helpful to be happy for them and to be enthused about their success, because not learning how to lose can also be very destructive. I won't wade into much of it, but I really think that Drake did himself a big disservice by not just understanding that he lost in the Kendrick and Drake beef. In smaller examples, being able to see things as not losing an argument, but opening your mind to a different perspective and taking that in. I'm not losing on my choice to watch a movie. I get an opportunity to explore a movie I would have never have chosen because I didn't choose it. If we understand that a loss is not a loss, it's a lesson, and you take those lessons and you help them shape the next time you go at it, you are both a loser and not a loser. Do you understand what I mean? We lose in life. It's not the end of the world to lose, but that doesn't make us losers. And some of the most successful people in life are the biggest losers. It really helps understand ourselves when we lose and how we do it. That's Dude Talk for today. Thank you so much for all of the likes and all of the subscribes. I don't know what I'm going to do after this next episode because it is the end. We're coming close to the end here. Again, trying to get to 500 and then 1,000 subscribers, because that really opens up YouTube a lot more for small creators like me. And so reviewing television shows is a new thing for me. I'm not really like a television critic or anything. If there's an interest, I might do The Last of Us because that game meant a lot to me, especially this upcoming season. But for the most part, I like to do film breakdowns. And leave a comment if you want to suggest anything I should review, as well as movies. I'm going to do, again, the omnibus video with all of the suggestions from the Miscongeniality video. So please like and subscribe. And love you guys. And I'll see you later.